They are heroes in the sci-fi world, and they've appeared in some of the most popular film, television shows of the genre. I'm talking about Dirk, Benedict, who was Lieutenant Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, also Richard Hatch, who was Captain Apollo in Battlestar Galactica, and Jake Lioyn, Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars, The Phantom Menace. They're all in the country for Supernova, Australia's biggest pop culture convention. Gentlemen, good morning and a warm, warm welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kerri Anne.
Well, we've beamed you all down here, and it is such a treat. Okay, guys, Battlestar Galactica, one of my fave shows. We've got some great memories here. Now, just
we're going to show clips.
Well, we've got some photographs and stuff here, because I want to hear, you know, when you were doing this, the fun you were having and your memories. So you see something, you know, like these photographs. Oh.
Smoke. I'm still smoking. They wouldn't let me smoke here. You know, you got a nanny state going in Australia. It's like having a mother going, no, 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 no.
No, we're very fierce on
Can't
the
smoke anywhere. But
no.
in fact, I couldn't play that character today because he was a womanizer and a smoker.
Very politically.
And he drank too, heaven forbid.
But naughty, fun.
Naughty.
I remember the cigar. He was such fun.
Yeah.
And of course, Richard, there you are. Your memories of that era, that role, and that time.
Well, I never got the cigar, so I was very disappointed. Okay, he stole it. Got all the women.
All the women. Yeah, well, now I know better, but...
But it was great. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be part of two Battlestar Galacticas 30 years apart. And, you know, even though we were only on 1 year, believe it or not, 3 generations of fans had never forgotten the show. And it was probably one of the greatest experiences I ever had on TV.
Wow. The costumes, on there's Lorne Green, the delightful Lorne Green.
We had wonderful people on the show. Fred Astaire, Lorne Green, of course, was a regular, but Fred Astaire played my father in an episode. We had Ray Milland, we had Lloyd Bridges, we had Ray Bolger, we had a lot of these great legendary talents that came on the show. And
as young actors yourselves, when a Fred Astaire walks on, how do you react?
Well, well, okay, I'll go first. The first day that he worked, I called him clumsy, and he loved it. We had to do a thing, and we had to walk up these stairs, and he tripped a little bit. I said, "Oh, Fred, you're so clumsy. Now we got to do it again." And so that endeared me to him, because nobody had ever accused him of being clumsy.
Indeed,
of course,
not.
it was a joke, but he loved it. And he was the dearest, sweet, most humble, hardworking. You'd think it was his first job, and he wanted to make sure he did really good so he could get another acting job. I swear. Yeah.
Isn't that extraordinary?
We also had Patrick McNee, John Colicos. We had just some incredible actors on that show. And the only thing I remember with John Colicos was finally meeting him in Chicago, finally getting to know him like 20 years later, wearing this wonderful white, beautiful suit. And I was so nervous talking to John Colicos, I spilled my red wine all over his jacket.
Oh.
And he didn't care. He just continued the conversation. He was a very, very gracious man.
Well, of course, that leads us to you, Jake.
Yep.
How old were you when you were Anakin Skywalker?
I was only 8 when we filmed.
That's how old we were when we did Battlestar.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm now 38. 20 years ago.
So you look at this, Jake. We who are sci-fi fans love it. Your memories of was this a daunting process for an 8-year-old?
Yeah, but they made it very easy for us on set. The entire family, actually, they came with me, and it was a very pleasant experience. There was never that feeling that there was too high anxiety, and it was always nice because it's Star Wars, so you expect for there to be a lot of anxiety for everybody, but it was very well done.
And meeting George Lucas.
Yes.
How did that come about? How did you get the job?
Well, I auditioned for about 2 years. And
wow.
Auditioned for 2 years?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I came in every 3 to 6 months, and initially I was too young and way too short, which I still am. And I came in and talked to Robin Gerland, the casting director, and she'd send me away because I was still too young, too short, and I'd come back in about 3 to 6 months. And then finally they had a screen test with me and 2 other actors who were magnificent. And well, I guess luck would be all I can
how long
really
did the whole
attribute it
shooting
to.
of Phantom take?
It took about somewhere between 3 and 4 months. not exactly sure. A little rusty.
So when you see are you sci-fi fans apart from your job, your actors, great heritage? Are you sci-fi fans?
Well, I am. I can't speak for this guy.
No. Well, I don't dislike it, but it's not my favorite genre. My favorite genre is Scotch bars and cigar hangouts.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
So you're right in character there, though.
Well, the character didn't smoke when he was written. I made him smoke when I played him. I introduced the cigar to Starbucks.
So it was just natural for you.
Yeah, and I almost got fired for it, too. The network hated it. Of course, they hated most of what I did with the character, but they particularly didn't like the cigar.
Why? What did they say?
They said it was disgusting. They wanted the character to appeal to young women, and women found cigars a turnoff. So I was told no more cigars. Glenn came to the set, the writer producer, he said, Dirk, and there was a man who said, one more cigar, and he's fired. So we quit for a while, and then we went on the air, because we filmed for a long time before the show went on the air. Forever we were filming.
Right. Yeah.
Show went on the air, and lo and behold, the women were not turned off by the cigar. Some girls sent me cigars. So they said, oh, okay, well, I guess he could smoke. Yeah.
Now tell me some of the other actors that you worked with, because as you mentioned, there was just a cavalcade of major people.
Well, you know, I think Patrick McNee came on because his kids, too, loved the show. And you know what's really, really funny is that he even said this. He said that he came on because of the spirituality of the show. That's really what attracted him to being on Battlestar. But I think a lot of people, you know, a lot of people, when they looked at Battlestar, it was unlike any other sci-fi show. It was something where non-sci-fi fans could relate to it.
Yeah.
Because it was always character-driven, and I think the best of sci-fi has always been about people. You know, it's not about foreheads and monsters and creatures
we love
and
some
things.
of the special effects and the creations.
But we did have monkeys in bondage, by the way. We did have 3 little monkeys in the little jagged outfits.
Yeah. We tortured animals.
That we would have to chase all over the set whenever an explosion went off. That was,
And of course, from 18 days, you enjoyed that experience?
We had monkeys on that set, too. The 4 actors the 4 of us were monkeys. They could barely control us, yeah.
Oh, dear.
That show I got to do as a result of Battlestar. So, you know, the guy that wrote the A-Team had seen me do. And Richard wasn't available, so he hired me.
I turned down the role. I was just going to say. I wish.
Well, gentlemen, you're looking forward to Supernova this weekend.
Yes, come and see us.
Yeah.
We do a song and dance. We do a whole number.
Jay, what do you look most forward to at these big conventions?
I look forward to the kind of quirky, kind of quiet nerd who comes up to me and asks me a lot of questions. They're my
Weirdest
favorite.
question you've been
It's
asked?
all the hot girls.
What's it like to be Jesus?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
I don't get the easy questions like that. Mine are always really tough, like, what's your room number?
You just fit right in there.
The guy who asked me that,
I haven't been asked that since
Richard, Dirk, and
They actually
Jake,
wanted him
thank
to
you.
Oh,
play God on the new show. Did you know that?
No.
I turned it down.
Oh, of course
I
you
didn't
did.
like the role. The part wasn't big enough.
Have a great weekend, gentlemen.
Thank you very
It's
much.
one of my favourite parts. You've in some great
And you
footsteps.
will be out there to see us, won't you? We're going to Perth.
Yeah, you've got a lot of places to go.
Sorry.
See you guys. Have a
Thank you
good
very
time.
much.
We've got more coming up.
Appreciate it.
Supernova, of course, is in Perth this weekend. But